What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 6 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, after destroying the forces of Belegar and declaring war upon Clan Angrand, we were able to take their capital, Karak at tier 4. We've also found a very nice special location here, the Copper Mountain, which reduces the upkeep for all of our favored weapons teams units, which is quite nice and should be up and running in 2 turns, though it did take a pretty penny for us to get it. We've also got a little bit of a level up on you, my friend, so you can get that, and there we go. Otherwise, there isn't really much to do this turn, as we basically ended off last episode nearly there anyway. Bale Quint, though, you can keep moving towards Ikit. And one other thing, I know somebody suggested this actually like 3 episodes ago, and I talked about it like last episode, but why can't we perform the Scheme of Doom? Is it because we're moving? Is it because Bale Quint is moving? I would like to send him out to... Why? What's going on here? We have the money. Why does it just say the rite cannot be performed? Huh. Is it because we do not have the construction cavern? We do have a construction cavern. Huh. Is it I have no idea. Well, hopefully that fixes itself, because I want to do it so that we can establish some more undercities, because we need to get those undercities up and running, damn it. It's, we don't have nearly enough. And the cooldown is for 5 more turns. I suppose if we wanted to, we could send Balequint up to Altdorf. It's quite nearby. And then come back to Ikit afterwards. And we do have to get him up to level 15, as I understand it, so... iffy. Oh well. Let's skip the rest of this and end the turn, then we'll see what these guys do. I'll be very curious to see whether they try to defend Karak Bufftar, or whether they try to go for Miragliano and our relatively exposed territories. Should be pretty interesting. Let's see. You gonna stay here? You gonna lose Karak Bufftar for this? Like you sacrificed Karak Azor? Very weird behavior, dwarfs. And it looks... I think they moved. I think they generated some stuff, and oh, Morger. Hello, buddy. Counter. Give us more money. Oh, I love the Beastman. Thank you, Morger. And I do appreciate that 5k. In fact, we should probably take a look at diplomacy this time around, since that was beneficial to us. In fact, oh, border princes are done. Settlement besieged Myrmidons by these the rebellion, but that's fine. Constructor for Ikit. Honestly, he should have maxed out constructor by default, and you should be auto-resolvable. Yeah. What is this army? You're not winning against that, especially with 6 uses of menace below. Auto-resolve, and that's 7 food and almost 2,000 money. Nice. In fact, wait, do we take the food or more money? We gotta get the money. We need it. Alright. And that's why I was saying I really want the extra rebellions. Those are gonna come in handy, and more rebellions everywhere are gonna be real good. Metastorm, you're at Skaven Blight, and either you attack next turn or you allow that to build up, in which case you're gonna fail. Alright. Happy with that situation. Now, Charge Lock Ikit. You two. First of all, can you jump up here? No. So what we're gonna do is we're going to... I guess send you all the way to the edge of this. I was thinking maybe we put you into channeling stance, but let's not risk not being able to jump. So you're gonna go right here. And the question is whether we try to move Ikit by himself. I have a feeling he should be able to destroy an army by himself again. Even with Belegar there, and the Second Lord. May make for a slightly tougher battle, but it may also be worth the time and effort. So, Ikit, you are going to move right here, not beside the garrison, but closer to them. We don't want to be beside the garrison because we wouldn't want to draw it out. Like so. No underway interception either. So now they have a choice. Either they attack us and get badly damaged in the field, or they leave us alone, in which case Charge Lock jumps when we siege next turn. And either way, they're not looking so hot. You can have elusive. And I maybe should have sent the other chieftain up there to help, but all good for now. Bale Quint, I guess since you're not reaching Ikit for now, we're going to send you up to find Altdorf and establish another undercity there in 4 turns. Might as well also keep an eye on what's going on out here. These guys are rebuilding, and we need to take Fort Saul ASAP. Also, 1 turn until you, and 3 turns until Karak can defend itself and thus not be super concerned about Durthu. Alright. Otherwise, we do have a decent amount of cash, so we could potentially upgrade some stuff if we wanted to. You know what? Upgrade the kilns. We're not doing a crazy amount of... No, wait. That'll reduce our Skaven corruption, which we don't want. Granted, it will increase the amount of food, but it'll reduce the amount of rebellions. Although Myrmidons is actually positive. Wait. Oh, well, that's because of the military crackdown. Oh, look, Miragliano's actually able to upgrade to level 4. Huh. I was not expecting that either. But maybe there is a benefit to doing so. It does have quite a lot of growth. I was going to upgrade these things, but you know what? For 1 turn, go into expansionist planning, we'll hold on to the money, and we'll upgrade you to tier 4. Nice. And maybe we'll even get enough food from another battle to reduce the cost further. We can also go for the dominating scheme right now to get the increased food and the growth, though the control isn't necessarily something we want, but at least it'll be a decent amount of food. And as I understand it, you want to use this thing pretty much every time it's up, so let's do it. Would be nice if we could reduce the cost of it, but we'll get there later on, I'm sure. And hopefully the extra food will take us over the edge for 61 to 80%. Otherwise, I do imagine that these guys will be attacking us, and I am excited for another battle with them. I just want to double check that there's nothing we want to change, like, for example, give you the World's Edge armor and the Potion of Strength so that you can be a stronger fighter. Alright. Looks good to me. And, ooh, one more thing. Sartosa. Warlock Engineer, what do we have here? Aha, another disciplined one. Oh, well, isn't that just perfect? Let's take the disciplined guy. It would be nice if he was another warpstone hoarder, but honestly, it reduces the cost so significantly that we're fine as we are. And then we can have 2 of these Warlock Engineers in Ikit's army, both disciplined. The melee attack isn't all that useful, but we can always swap them out with different units afterwards. It also costs us like a decent amount of cash, but whatever. Building upgrades available, we'll skip for now. Let's end the turn, and let's see what Clan Angren does. Oh damn, I forgot to take a look at the diplomacy again. Oh well. Faction encountered Exiles of Khorne. Interesting. I wonder if we could be friendly with them to some degree. Alrighty, did Belegar move? Did he really cowered out of this? Huh. He's going to let us siege him with a second army. Bad idea, buddy. Tremendously bad idea. This is definitely going to be in our favor then. So we're going to ignore Belegar. We're going to have you siege Karak Bufftar. And we're going to encircle it. This allows us to jump our second army without the possibility of it getting intercepted. Ooh, speaking of, Fenny Stone Shatterer is up at Verdanos. Now, I do have to wonder, if we set up a lord here at Verdanos, we might be able to see this army off with a nuke without any damage taken. And oh, unfortunately for Metastorm, our warp bomb came up, so you're screwed. All right, that worked out. Charge lock. You could actually head down to Verdanos if you wanted to, but no, we have bigger fish to fry right now. So head to Bufftar, right beside Ikit, and no interception for you. You are also going to apply your 1 point, maybe. You can get your tail weapon, you get your power overload. Let's get power overload, I guess. We want to save at rank 12 so that we can get 13 and 14 at the same time, but in the meantime, power overload it is. And then you can get a slight upgrade as well, more elusive. You're a very elusive chieftain. Alrighty, and is there any more, you know what, I was about to say, is there any more upgrades that we could do, but I think I've talked long enough, and I'm sure you guys are sick of it, minus the fact that I never shut up, but I mean, talked about admin stuff long enough. Let's do this battle. We do have a grudge thrower to contend with, but with the new forces here, I do think we have a pretty considerable advantage that we should be pretty happy about. Let's do this thing.
Yes, fine.
Alrighty, well, here we go. This should be a pretty exciting battle, in my opinion, and possibly a difficult one. We certainly have a lot of dwarfs to clear out of this settlement, as we're gonna have to go street by street here, and a full garrison stands against us, as in a full garrisoning army, plus the garrison of the city itself, plus Belegar's little relieving force coming in to help out a little bit. And I do believe that Belegar has, yeah, he's got Slayers here, but it's him himself that is the threatening unit. But there is, I believe, a Giant Slayer unit in here somewhere, along with an absolute ton of Quarrelers and Miners with blasting charges, as we can see from all the range accessible to the enemy. Obviously, that's going to be a fairly big problem for us, as it will be fairly difficult for our current type of army to bring those down. Now, speaking of bringing them down, we're going to start by getting that Menace Below up and running and attacking the enemy Grudge Throwers, as this is probably the most critical enemy to destroy here, if our clan rats can manage to do so. A little bit in the dark here, but still kind of clear, or clear enough, I should say, as to what's happening. Also, we got 18 seconds until Belegar's on the field, so we'll switch this view to that in a few as well. Well, let's see how we doing here. Grudge Throwers are at about half HP. They haven't lost any of their models, as in they haven't lost any of the actual Grudge Throwers, even if they have lost some crew, but oh well. And there we go, Belegar's on the field, and we have moved our Jezzails, our Rattling Guns, plus Ikit and the Doomflayers all here, in the hopes of destroying these guys before they can join the city, especially Belegar. He's so difficult to bring down that we really would prefer to make sure that he's not here. 83 melee defense, 134 armor, and gold shield. It would have been nice if we could have been able to kill him previously, but it's okay. Hopefully we'll manage this time around. Alrighty, there we go. Ikit's gonna zap some Slayers, and it seems he was able to bring one down and do a little bit of damage, and there we go. We got the Jezzails firing, and the Rattling Guns should follow suit on the Slayers shortly. We do also have our Warp Grinders here, just in case we need to slow the enemy down and keep him from getting away from us. And there we go. The armor-piercing damage on the Rattling Guns and the Jezzails are a little bit wasted on units like the Slayers, but nonetheless the Slayers get absolutely torn apart by focus fire from several units of Rattling Guns. The Warriors should follow suit as well, especially as they are the unshielded regular variety. And we're going to keep Ikit and our Doomflayers annoying the enemy and preventing them from closing the distance as best we can. Hopefully Belegar doesn't bring down any of the Doomflayers, as that might be otherwise kind of annoying. Alrighty, well, it looks like the Slayers have died nearly to a man, and the Dwarfen Warriors are running away, so we are going to switch targets to Belegar, while the Doomflayers, damn it, try to give chase. Alrighty, there we go. Time to focus Belegar down. He's going to take quite a bit to do so, and in fact we are going to use the Seismic Snare and just to stop him in his tracks. Not going to bother with the Warp Quake, and just the Snare there. And there we go, nice volley from our Jezzails. Got to get those Doomflayers out of here so that they don't block our shots. And damn, I was hoping that Ikit could... Oh, wow. Okay, careful with those Rattling Guns, Ikit. I was hoping he could knock Belegar down, but yeah... He does get staggered by every volley of the Jezzails, as in when the entire volley hits him, he does seem to stagger. No, actually not that time, but he did the previous time. Well, keep trying to bring him down. At the very least, that's applying Shield Breaker to him, so it should be a little bit better, but consider the amount of ammunition being used by all these units, and he's still only at half health. The thing is, we don't really have any other way to bring him down, so we gotta work with what we got. I suppose the other way to bring him down would have actually been to just kill the rest of his kill the rest of his army, and then watch him rout, just like we did in the previous time we fought him. But anyway, we were also at the same time going in with the beginnings of this battle here. Our units are moving forward a little bit, or at least the slingers are, and to some degree the warp fire throwers are, in the hopes of destroying all these dwarf warriors. Our plague claw catapults will be continuing to fire for quite a while yet. We're just going to back off a little bit so that the warriors don't chase down our warp fire throwers. Just checking on Belegar there for a second. And there we go. These guys certainly chased us all the way out of the settlement here, haven't they? Well, good job to them, I suppose. Probably better to give chase rather than to, well, take this. And there we go, awash in the green fires of the warp, and 20 units remaining, but only 625 HP, so they'll go down very quickly. Well, one more volley from the flamethrower should take care of them. And hopefully we can get a few more units to come out of the settlement like that. Beautiful. Boil them inside their armor. Alrighty, now we've moved forward over here, but unfortunately the Giant Slayers seem to have managed to catch up to our warp fire throwers. I'm not entirely sure what actually happened here. It might have been an issue with the skirmish mode, as the units are in skirmish mode, but sometimes for whatever reason, skirmish mode forces your own units to run into the enemy rather than run away, especially in enclosed spaces like this. It tends to bug out. And that's okay, though. The units all do remain alive, and we're going to summon the menace below on top of those Giant Slayers and move our units away where they're going to be a little bit safer, and we're just going to disable skirmish mode so that doesn't happen again. In the meantime, I do believe that Belegar has finally fallen here, though it's taken, as we can see, almost all the ammunition on the Warplock Jezzails, as well as about half the ammunition on one of our units of rattling guns, and a decent amount on the others. At the very least, the Endless Drum is still active on the Regiment of Renown. In the meantime, we've actually sent Ikit out together with our Doom players alone, as there are some isolated units all the way back here that they could potentially be fighting while we're busy with everything else. Looks like the Giant Slayers are just about done, continuing to get burninated by the warp fire throwers, and taking a few shots from a few of our rattling guns as well. The Jezzails, I think, were... okay, those are wrong units. The Jezzails are also sniping them down, and they're just about done. Lovely. Alrighty, well that's probably the two most threatening units on the field. Both Belegar and the Giant Slayers are dead. Our Plague Claw catapults are continuing to work on the enemy that they can reach, although the buildings in this particular settlement are certainly still causing us issues. And we're nearly 8 minutes into this battle, and... well, I wouldn't say barely begun. There is still a lot to clear. In fact, our second army is finally on the field and are moving in to try to add a little bit of extra damage. We do have 2 more rattling guns here, 2 more warp fire throwers, and poison wind globadiers who could come in very handy here, as they do quite a lot of damage. Alrighty, they're going to move up to these quarrelers shortly, while the rest of our units continue bombarding. We don't want to go too far with regards to moving into the city while we still have ammunition on our artillery. Bombard them and annoy them as much as possible. And by them, I mean the enemy. In the meantime, Ikit is moving in together with his little squad of Doomflayers, hitting this unit of enemy Dwarf Warriors in the back. And they should be able to take care of an isolated unit like this without too much problems. We do still have recourse to our Warp Lightning, and even a Brass Orb can be dropped on them if it gets dicey, though I don't imagine it should, with only one unit down. Those zaps exploding individual dwarf units, very nice. And there we go, adding some warp lightning to the zaps, and the dwarf warriors here are at about half HP and will continue to drop. While the warp players are going to move out and try to annoy the quarrelers, we shall check back on what's going on over here. Quarrelers probably will be firing at us, but now they're taking the occasional shot from the rattling guns, although the rattling guns, for whatever reason, seem a little bit inaccurate. Huh. Those bullets really seem to arc a lot, don't they? But anyway, not a big deal, because the Poison Wind Globadiers and the Warp Fire Throwers are here to take care of business, and this unit of This unit of Quarrelers is basically done, and our Warlock Master Charge Lock is, well, charging while we take care of these units. Huh, that looks like that Poison Wind Globadier. That one shot actually missed because the debuff wasn't applied to these guys. Interesting. Well, keep hitting them Rattling Guns. Oh, I guess they're arcing a lot because they have to shoot through all of our Skaven Slave Slingers here, right? That's okay. The Skaven Slave Slingers are busy here attacking this piercing tower, trying to knock that off the field. In the meantime, we're going to move a Skaven Slave Spear unit. We're going to move it to about here so that the enemy Dwarf Warriors engage it while we move the rest of our ranged units up so that we can hit that unit in the sides. There is another unit of Miners here who we've already hit with a Warp Lightning spell, but we are going to apply some Poison Wind Globadiers to them as they can arc over this little wall. There we go. And those should be very, very damaging. Good job, everybody. Keep moving in. There's another Warp Lightning spam coming down. And gotta keep that up. And the rest of our army shall be moving into the city as well. Some Warp Fire Throwers. Ooh, just barely stopping the enemy charge right as the enemy gets to us. Very lucky there, though we will have to back them off and through the Skaven Slave Slingers, while we can also provide some support to them with Charge Lock potentially moving in. And casting a few Warp Lightnings on them as well. Always nice to have a second Lord to apply more Warp Lightning, especially as we don't yet have the engineers needed to be as spammy as we'd like with that spell. I think it can't be the only one casting it. And let's check back on what's going on over here. Our Rattling Guns are moving into position against these Dwarf Warriors who are about to take quite a few machine gun shots. That was supposed to be the Q game. There we go, a few seconds late. And start hitting them, and damn, yeah, the accuracy. Well, a lot of those going overhead, but it's okay. We can see the dwarves melting as they get hit in the sides like that. And the single Skaven Slave unit should be sufficient to hold while we just obliterate the enemy with the Rattling Guns. Though once again, we're not in an ideal position in these enclosed streets, but, well, we should get used to it. Ikit's army is never going to be ideal for these sorts of situations, although it will get a little better once we have our Death Globes, or our Poison Wind Mortars. Very, very nice. And finally, some use for the Chieftain as he moves in to try to distract the enemy unit and prevent them from moving away as our Skaven Slaves run away and as our Rattling Guns continue to rip those Dwarf Warriors apart. Alrighty, so these guys are basically dead now. And they're gonna pump those dwarfen legs as they run away. In the meantime, Ikit's clearly done a decent amount of damage here, as we can see a bunch of hurt units, while him and his Doomflayers, though the Doomflayers had to get out once they got down to about half HP. In fact, Ikit's nearly down to half HP as well, and between his repeated uses of his second Wind Serum, he's actually reached his healing cap, so he will be healing no further. Gotta be a little bit careful with him now. Though fortunately, it's not gonna matter near as much as we're moving further and further into the city proper, cleaning the settlement out street by street of the stunties infesting it. And that's why we brought our Warp Fire Throwers and our Gas Grenade Throwers. The dwarves should be used to all these sorts of things, as they are very applicable in tunnel fighting. And the horrors of tunnel fighting are always described with these, you know, the poisonous gases and the fires and all the other stuff that the Skaven like to use. There we go, head up that hill. In the meantime, let's see what's going on over on this side. We got a few more units, but we're spreading out further and further into the city. Unfortunately, the Rattling Guns over on this side couldn't fire at the enemy because of the hill does prevent them, as they do need a very clear line of sight, but oh well. I suppose what we could have done here is spread out our army a little bit more and attack from even more angles at the same time, but it was already a little bit difficult to control, so I kept everybody a little bit closer together. Not that it's going to make much of a difference at the end, because while we have taken some damage to a few of our units, namely a few of our Warp Fire Throwers and pretty much all of our melee units, none of those really matter all that much. And there we go, more uses for our Poison Wind Globadiers and our flamethrowers here going after those quarrelers. And our rattling guns continue doing good work as usual. Very, very nice. Damn. You gotta love those units. And then more rattling guns over here. Working together with the warp fire throwers on that one unit of dwarf warriors with great weapons who are being absolutely ripped apart by machine guns and by flamethrowers. Very nice. And while the clan rats here may rat, or are those Skaven slaves? No, they are clan rats, and the lord may still be alive. Actually, that is a rune lord, so he should be a little bit more susceptible to damage, I would think, because he doesn't have a shield like a regular dwarf lord does, so may actually be good in our case. Now let's see what the enemy still has left. The balance of power is about 75% in our favor. Ikit continues to fight here, but at this point he's not actually engaged with units so much as spamming spells and then charging units to prevent them from rallying while he hunts them down. Otherwise, the enemy's troop count is down to, what, 650? Most are done for, and we should be done with the rest of their troops fairly soon. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they haven't routed already. But yeah, very nice battle, I gotta say. When these minor settlement battles are few and far between, they're a lot more fun. Because it's mostly field battles, and occasionally you get walled sieges, but then occasionally you get these unwalled settlements. Now we're in the right amount of ratio of these, I think. Because obviously, I think pretty much everybody didn't like the ratio prior to this latest patch, as there were way, way too many. And having to work for every single minor settlement like this, it was kind of obnoxious. But in this particular case, I am enjoying it very much. Clearing out the summit, especially as it's not just a garrison in this particular battle, but also a full army that was helping out the garrison. Anyway, it looks like the enemy army has in fact routed, but we still have two things to do. A couple ghosts to kill once again. And as we saw the last time we fought Belgar, these guys take quite a lot of effort to bring down, especially as we have no real magical damage and they're very resistant to all the physical damage we can do. Alright, looks like some of our rattling guns have gotten down. Some of our poison wind globadier is going to back these guys off a little bit and send some melee units to distract. Yeah, alright, let's just speed it up a little bit while everybody gets into position. Gonna send in some Skaven slave slingers, and then let's hope that the rattling guns can fire once more. But as we can see, I think the battle ended at about 17 minutes, so let's see how long it takes to bring these guys down. We're gonna try for both of them at the same time, though I think we'll need Ikit's help with the other one. Also, the chieftain gonna try to distract the enemy a little bit. But mostly we need our other units to distract while the rattling guns gun down hundreds upon hundreds of rats in the hopes of killing a ghost. Yeah, even a Lichbone Pennant, as I was saying, would be really good on a Giselle unit, but another Lichbone Pennant on these guys would be great as well. On the rattling guns. Those poor clan rats and Skaven slaves, and this guy's in a crossfire now from several directions. Lots and lots of our gunners, and finally he should be going down any second now. I wonder if you're gonna survive this. We shall see. Well, at least the ghost is not going to survive this, and down you go, buddy. And hopefully we won't be seeing you again. One more ghost remaining until the battle ends, and yeah, it took about 3 minutes of a nearly sustained fire on that guy. Damn. And there's another one here. This is it says melee specialist, but you have a ranged attack as well. Fortunately, Ikit is here, and while he doesn't dish out magical damage, we gotta get him a magical sword. Ooh. Does his unique weapon give him magical attacks? That would actually have been really helpful here. I gotta double check that, and if, well, A, we gotta do that battle ASAP anyway to get the weapon, but in addition to that, if it were to give us magical attacks, that's another reason to get it ASAP. Actually, it would be unfortunate if it doesn't give us magical attacks, because then the only way that Ikit could have magical attacks will then be either Either maybe there's a skill that gives them to him, but if not, then it'll have to be another Lichbone Pennant, which means we wouldn't be able to give it to one of our units. Anyway, working with the Warp Grinders here, and we haven't had a lot of looks at the Warp Grinders in combat thus far, because they're a pretty damn cool looking unit. You gotta love these guys' design. Look at that frickin' thing. You gotta love the Skaven. And they're just so fun. But anyway, with that, I do believe the enemy 1 HP is nearly down. I think 1 HP means he's been knocked out and is just in the middle of his death animation. And there we go. The victory is ours. A close victory by virtue of the damage that our units had to take while heading down each street, but certainly a worthwhile battle, and I do believe that this should pretty much cripple the faction for good. Alrighty, there we go. That was definitely one of the longer battles that we've fought here, and, well, not surprisingly, then the food and the treasury rewards are pretty good. I think 20 is the max food you can get, and damn, those ghost units are just so difficult to bring down with what we've got. We really need some magical bullets for one of our, rattling guns. I think that would really help us out. I think the winners in terms of damage are gonna be the Plague Claw catapults, once again unsurprisingly, as they are our only artillery piece, and well, not counting Ikit of course, as he did quite a bit of damage himself. Otherwise, no losses yet again, though it came close to it for the clan rats there, but another territory is once again ours. Now, I guess we gotta sack it yet again. Well, yet again, in the sense that Ikit will sack one more time, and then we'll take it, and income from post-battle loot, Kidnapper, nice. Another Banner of the Under Empire, once for Charge Lock. We got some more Regiments of Renown unlocked, and we shall take this location in a second. First, I just want to double check. We have all the ancillaries that we can use. Yes, yes. And I assume we're gonna want to take Karak Bufftar tier 3, mostly because otherwise it will probably not be able to defend against Durthu, which means we're going to drop down again in terms of food, which also means that if we want to upgrade something, we want to do this right now. So that's you, Grand Warren at Miragliano, and we might as well upgrade you as well for the relatively cheap cash. You can also then go back up to, well, maybe if we want to upgrade Lucchini and stuff, we want to leave it in expansionist planning for a couple more turns. Should be pretty quick to upgrade everything here, in fact. And then upgrade the walls there as well so that we don't have to worry about losing them. Klesh, you've got to get to Ikit as well. And let's just double check that there are no other upgrades that we want to use before we go back down to construction cost increase. Tempting to, well, we should probably raise a lord here at Verdanos. But if we don't, we could upgrade something else, like Zvorak, for example. I wasn't gonna, but now it feels like perhaps it would be beneficial to do so. In fact, we could upgrade Argalis as well, but there's no guarantee that Fenny doesn't attack it immediately, which is another problem. Alrighty, and ooh, upgrade these two as well for a little bit more cash. Lovely. It looks like Karakazor will be generating a decent amount. I believe that's about it. We could risk upgrading Argalis, but then I think he can reach it in a single turn, and if we summon an army here, he's not gonna go for it. Alright, fine. We'll ignore that for now, as well as the rest of whatever buildings remain, though I suppose we could upgrade the breeding pit at Skavenblight, as it will indeed need growth. And here I'm still not sure. We'll probably want a construction cavern here anyway, but is there something that we want to build here more? Like that breeding stock for those wolf rats that I wanted. And we don't want the Overseer's Lookout right now, though we will get it later on, but right now we just need the growth. It would be more beneficial to us. The Spelunking Holes offer no real tangible benefit. We do want the Pestilent Knave, but we can build that at Miragliano instead. And yeah, I mean, I suppose we could get an Assassin to steal stuff, but at the end of the day, Nah, but this needs tier 5, so there's no other real points to getting the construction cavern. Yeah, I think that the only real one that we could benefit from is the breeding stock, just so that we could potentially get wolf rats up and running in several other territories. Also, since we're going to be generating a lot of cash here, I guess the scrap heap is worth an upgrade. Okay, now we're going to go to Verdanos, and we're going to summon another Warlock Master, and I guess it'll be another disciplined one. Lots of disciplined rats here, as odd as that may seem. And then you need to be able to defend Verdanos. Presuming that this guy actually attacks it, but I think he will. The only way we can really do that is via the Regiments of Renown, which are going to cost us quite a lot, but it would cost us even more to have Ikit go all the way here to retake Verdanos.
That will work.
Is one or two of these going to be enough? Let's see. Maybe just the Storm Vermin alone could hold ground for a decent amount of time, but the problem is dishing out damage. You have your bound Warp Lightning, so you should be able to force the enemies into some bad situations. On the other hand, the Viscrit's Death Squad will dish out much more damage even if they can't hold the ground. Ixus Triads can also hold the ground, and their damage is pretty good as well. Maybe we do 2 of these. Let's do Ixus Triads. Yeah, let's do Ixus Triads and Viscrit's Death Squad. And we're going to delete them because they're going to cost too much money, but I think together they should be able to take out Fenny if he attacks, together with the garrison forces. Presuming that they don't immediately rout. And then we'll delete those to get our money back up and running. Now, Ikit, you can now take Karak Bufftar tier 3. And occupy the place. Yes. Wait, no. Occupy the tier 3. There we go. Which will put our food back down to yellow, but that's just fine. Nice. And then we'll immediately build walls here because, well, we need to protect ourselves against the trees. And then we'll delete the rubbish pit in favor of the growth building, I guess, as well as build the woodsman's hut. The growth building, well, I guess we will need to build Karakazor up to tier 5 eventually, so we'll need some growth, so we might as well. Plus it, of course, generates as much money as the pit does anyway. Otherwise, you guys are good here. I have to wonder whether Ikit could trade units right now. And no, he can't. Okay, well then just stay there. Looks like we'll be trading units next turn. And then we will also be getting money back up because these guys will be a lot cheaper. Alrighty, and Klesh, you're gonna move up here. And I do believe we're pretty much good. Ooh, wait, Balequint, you've got to go to Altdorf. And up we go. Alrighty, well, unfortunately for us, that battle took pretty much the entire episode, though it was a pretty fun one, and we'll be looking to take out the rest of Clan Angra next episode, because I am going to call it here. Also, that battle took a while, so I'm not sure how long the commentary is going to take on it as well. Either way, we'll start off next episode by ending the turn, which, ooh, wait, just before... Just want to check one thing. Top Knots are willing to ally, although they're fighting Exiles of Khorne, which we may potentially want to ally with, so maybe leave them alone for now. Yeah, nobody else wants to trade. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to call it here. Next time we will hopefully destroy Clan Angren for good and have a nice little defense here with Infecticate the Plague Ridden, which doesn't really sound like a Warlock Master name so much as a possibly a Grey Seer name, for example. But oh well. Honestly, it sounds like a Plague Priest name, but yeah. And afterwards, if we have the opportunity, as in if we have a few turns remaining, we'll send Ikit southward to grab the Skull Reef before going back up north and into Fort Saul and Solland. We may want to go up here as well, or... we may even want to raise the dwarfs, but not take their territories. I'll think about what we actually want to do here, and you guys let me know what you think as well. Because it may be worthwhile to repeatedly sack Solland and raise the dwarfs so that they can't jump over the mountains, because other than the Wood Elves, nobody else would then be able to go past Fort Saul, and we can hold ground here as long as we have the fort, which would allow us time to go up and burn all the Wood Elves out, so that would... which would prevent them from getting strong, which we probably do want, as they are very much a threat to our faction. In fact, they remain a threat to our faction, which is probably a good reason to use Infecticate to get a few units of Poison Wind Mortars up, so that when we fight the Wood Elves, Ikit has those units to dish out the damage. We will... Yeah, we'll be using those instead of Poison Wind Globadiers in his army. He doesn't really need the Globadiers, and the Globadiers could be quite useful in the Skaven slave army, because, well, they can arc over said Skaven slaves, whereas Ikit doesn't really have the units to arc over, as he will not be using too many melee units. Though maybe we'll put those Poison Winds in his army temporarily while we get the Death Gloves. Anyway, I digress again. I'm just having fun, so I want to ramble on and never end the episode, but all good things have to come to an end, so stay tuned for more Ikit. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.